Hey Sam, obviously great to see your good batting form in that last Shield match. Just talk us through a bit about that innings and how nice it was to bring up that century against what was a very competitive New South Wales bowling attack.
Yeah, it was definitely always nice to score runs and play my part. Yeah, I think after a team scores a big first innings tally, you sort of know what you're going to expect as an opening batsman. They're going to come pretty hard for a few hours, and happy to ride that out. And yeah, always nice to score hundreds, especially early in the season.
Your sort of form going into this season has been a lot stronger than last year. I think probably even by your own admissions, you probably weren't too happy with what you did with the bat last year. Have there been any major changes you've made to your game to sort of improve with the bat?
I think each year you sort of learn a few lessons, and last year definitely starting the season poorly. You go and look at your game, and I definitely learned some things last year, and it was always nice to finish the season well last year. And I guess for me, it was just trying to carry that momentum over into the next season. And I feel like I had a pretty good season, but you can't really judge it until you start playing. So it's been nice to start the season well.
And obviously there's been a lot of talk about test selection lately, and in particular with Cam. But for yourself, there's a lot of speculation about potentially being in position at the top of the Australian order being up for grabs. Is that something that you'd set your sights on?
Definitely not. It hasn't crossed my mind whatsoever, but I think for me, it's just about playing good cricket for WA. I want to be really consistent. I want to have a great opening partnership with Cameron Bancroft, and hold the team in good stead for that. So definitely just want to play good cricket for WA, and not really worry about anything else.
Cheers. Thanks, Sam.
No worries.
Thanks, Lockie. Bonnie?
Hey Sam, you've obviously endured a lovely purple patch, passing 50 5 times in your past 7 innings, including 2 centuries. You didn't really say if there were any big technical changes, but do you sort of put it down to anything in particular, or a full off season at home, or is there anything you credit for the purple patch?
No, I don't really credit anything to it. I think I'm very lucky to have some great coaches around me. I think look at learn a lot from Adam Voges, Bo Casson, who's been around the last couple of years, and of course Wayne Andrews as well, who I've hit with for 10 years. So I think something for me that I've always worked on the last 5-6 years is just trying to be more consistent. And it's good to see over the last 6 or 7 games that it's starting to come to fruition.
And obviously your form's been great, so too has Cameron Green's, but your teammates Ashton Turner and Cameron Bancroft have been struggling a bit lately. Do you see any improvements in them in the nets over the last sort of 7 days you've had between matches, or are you backing them in to bounce back and find some form?
I don't know what struggling is, Bonnie. Bangers average is 50 this year. Look, everyone's chipping away at their game, and I think we all love to score hundreds, but something Bangers and I have had a huge focus on partnerships this year, and trying to be more consistent up the top, which is something WA cricket's probably lacked in the last few years. So trying to put on some good partnerships, but everyone's working hard. I feel like everyone's hitting the ball pretty well at the moment. So it's just this week's a new challenge and a new team, so we just need to start again.
Very nice plug for Bangers. Thanks, Whitey.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bonnie. Alex?
Whitey, it's Alex Malcolm here. Well played last week, mate. Quick one on Greenie. I'm not sure if you're aware, he's been named in the Australian ODI squad for the upcoming series against India. What specifically have you seen from him in terms of his batting? You've shared a couple of really good stands with him in Hobart last year and obviously last week. Is there any insight you can give in terms of what his growth has been as a player?
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about Greenie is how quickly he's sort of learnt. I think for a young guy, he's definitely learning at a rapid rate, and he's hungry. He's hungry to score big runs. I think he loves batting. Even in the nets, you sort of have to kick him out to make sure he goes and has a bowl. So I think that's the most impressive thing about Greenie. He when he gets in, he bats long periods of time, which I know when I was a young player, I wanted to score runs as quick as I could, and if I'd get a 50, I'd be happy. But Greeny's, you see the other day when he scored, he got out just before 200. He was shattered, so he just loves batting.
And it looks like he's really developed his problem-solving ability. The other day, he had tremendous plans against Lyon, and also when Conway and Abbott were bouncing in with a very leg-side strong field, he really methodically worked his way through that. Have you seen that kind of what insight can you provide on the type of development he's shown in that side of his game?
Yeah, I think that's something he's learned over the last year. He when he first came in, a lot of sides would go the short stuff, and I was watching with probably thought that's probably his one weakness. But credit to him, he's worked hard at it, and like you saw the other day, he wrote it out for 20, 30 overs, picking the right ball to pull, and he definitely deserves that selection, and everyone's pumped for him, and what a great opportunity.
Just one quick one, mate. How have you adjusted to full-time life as an opening bat? It's a completely different experience. How are you finding it? What have you learnt over the sort of year and a half that you've had to do the job?
Yeah, I love opening the batting. It's a great challenge. It's tough, but there's so many upsides to it. I think I've learned a lot around mentally, just preparing for that and sort of accepting and looking forward to some challenges instead of trying to shy away from it. But I'm definitely a full-time opening batsman now. I went and bought some shin pads to do some bat pad practice. So definitely a full-time opener now.
Thanks, mate. Go well this week.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Mark, Channel 7. Skeet, you on the line? We'll go to Steve Allen from Channel 10.
Thank you. Sammy, nice bit of honesty earlier about the Australia stuff and not thinking about it. I'm just curious, was that just an off-the-cuff comment, or is it something that you've had to come to terms with consciously about not thinking about higher honours?
I think I learned from when I was a bit younger, when I was, probably around the test mark. I thought about it way too much, read the papers, sort of forgot to play cricket a bit, and it really affected my performance for WA. So I'm trying to learn that lesson. And when I haven't played for WA too much over the last 3 or 4 years, I think I really appreciate playing for WA a lot more now. And I'm stoked to be playing for WA. So I feel like if I can do that form for WA, then maybe there's opportunities down the line. But right now, I'm really happy where I am.
And I must ask, with the moving to the opening bat, did JL have anything to do with that behind the scenes somewhere?
I don't think so. I think Vogsy was coach when I got chucked up at the top of the order. I think it was after a big bash a couple of years ago, and I was keen as mustard to do it, but it's probably a pretty big risk for the selectors and Vogsy. So but I'm extremely grateful. I love the challenge. So yeah.
So mate.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve. Mark, did you have any questions before we wind it up?
Georgia, it's Paddy from 9 here. Would I be able to just jump in and...
Yeah, go for it, Paddy. Yep.
And Paddy from Channel 9, mate. Congrats on last week. Just the one that caught my attention, you're just talking about how, as a youngster, you probably got a little bit caught up with it. Do you give maybe some advice or offer an ear to Cameron Green? Then obviously he's sort of pretty much embarking on that similar role for you a few years ago now then.
Oh, look, I don't think Green really needed any advice. I think coming into this season, there was a lot of people who were concerned about, in sport, you often hear a lot about second-year blues, and I think Greeny was probably aware of that. But credit to him, he started the season really well. So he's continued off where he left off last year. So, no, I think the message to him will be, just because you're playing for Australia doesn't mean you need to change anything. You know, his batting's clearly good enough for that level. So if he just sticks to what he's doing now, he'll be fine.
In terms of the hubs over there, obviously you're a young father as well. I mean, how much do you want to get back to WA and actually have some cricket at home?
Oh, look, yeah. Love to get home and see the family, and looking forward to doing that in a couple of weeks. Yeah, and would love some cricket in Perth. Obviously, it's a bit of a funny year, and as players, we're sort of rolling with the punches as well. And we don't really know anything about Big Bash yet. So yeah, we're looking forward to finding out what's happening with that. And look, we definitely love the opportunity to play some cricket in Perth, and you know, play at the Furnace in front of a good crowd. Would be awesome.
Thanks, Paddy. Mark?
Yeah, sorry about that. So you got me, Sam?
Yeah, gotcha. Yep.
Apologies, my technological know-how is just a little bit slow, but thanks for having a chat, mate. Listen, I know I was listening that the Greenie conversation's been fairly dominant in the press conference. So I just switched off for about 60 seconds. Have you spoken about the Greg Chappell comment and how someone like Cameron will handle that type of expectation, or certainly that tag moving forward?
No, definitely. I'm not aware of Greg Chappell's comment.
So it's just for what it's worth. He basically said he's the best young talent coming through since Ricky Ponting, which I guess is a fairly massive tick for Cameron.
Yeah, it's probably spot on too. Look, I think Greeny's he's a guy that, you know, can tune a lot of information out. Which, yeah, there's a lot of pressure to that comment, but I think he's fortunate. He's got a big group around him here to I guess guide him and make sure he's, you know, sticking to what he's doing now, because it's clearly working.